The Citadel is what happens when you put anime waifus, gun porn, graphic gore, and retro FPS games like Doom and Marathon into a blender and make them into a fine mix of somber sci-fi ultra-violent goodness. Following a woman by the name of the Martyr, our hero was tasked with a not-so-simple goal: bring down the false angels that are bringing an end to humanity before putting the sleeping god itself to rest. While what is here narratively is interesting, foreboding, and chilling, the story isn't a huge focus, past some cryptic and uncomfortably tragic dialogue. The same goes for the characters. There really isn't any, outside of the silent protagonist herself, a fitting soul by the name of Lysander, and a young gun merchant named Tycho. That's about it. Why you're really playing the Citadel is for the frantic, fast-paced, addicting gunplay the game presents. The shooting is a mix between tactical and arcadey, with the option to turn on more gun mechanics like bullet jamming, along with different spread simulation. I had jamming turned off for the review, and the arcade spread option enabled, along with playing the game on the normal difficulty setting. Guns all feel great, save for the super shotgun, which felt a bit underwhelming unfortunately. All the guns had their own unique purpose and feel, but the LMG and Tommy gun were definitely my favorites, and the temporary minigun you were able to use occasionally was just pure fun to use. There were also a handful of sections where you were able to ride around in a mech, and these parts were just too awesome. While the mech itself wasn't invincible like you might think it would be, flying around in it and blasting bad guys with a mini cannon felt awesome. Movement for the game was extremely smooth, as you could bounce and zoom around the map, leaping huge distances in a single sprint jump. The only real downside, however, was that you feel a bit too slippery sometimes, and this can be a bit of a hassle during the platforming sections. Visually, I love everything about this game. Well, save for maybe the fact that some levels were a bit too repetitive visually. The enemy designs were wonderfully creative, yet perfectly stock in a way that fit. The world felt nightmarish, but also clinically clean. The gore was wonderfully over the top and grotesque, while also being surgically sterile, and the various characters from ally to boss alike were wonderfully memorable. In terms of performance, it is easily the weakest part of the game. The game will stutter, drop massive frames, hitch, and basically have any other issues you can think of. Still, the game is playable and they don't ruin the game, it's just the weakest part of the game. Also, to address the concerns from people that this is a Guro game, it's not. Yes, it's gory, yes, it's gore relating to anime girls, but it is in no way even eroge adjacent. I own some Guro manga and doujins, and this game and the genre could be any further apart, save for the inclusion of the gore itself. And if you want to play the game without gore, there is an option to do so. In the sound department, overall I really liked it. While the enemy sounds could be a bit repetitive and shrill, they worked. Guns sounded powerful, and I really liked the soundtrack, especially the handful of tracks that reminded me of the Toho game's OSTs. And with all that said, I adore this game. It's memorable, graphic, pulpy, and just so much darn fun to play. It was clearly made with a lot of passion from the dev, and that passion oozes from the screen. If you want an excellent retro-inspired graphic as can be, fun as heck FPS, I cannot recommend this game enough. Go play it whenever you might get a chance. As always, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider sharing with your friends and subscribing to the channel to see more. I want to give a huge thank you to not only the show's patrons, but also Orion Knight for doing up the art and rig of Punish Neat, Alexander for doing the show's intro theme, and my friend Alex for making the thumbnail design. Their social media and my Patreon will be linked in the description down below. If you have any comments, questions, or recommendations, leave them down below as I read and reply to everything. Until next time, this is Thierry Williamson signing off until the next video. See you guys!